guys, it's Alexis, aka The Soft Reader, and I'm here today to do my August review. For those of you who don't know, at the end of the month I do a review about all of the movies and television shows and games and stuff that I have experienced in the previous month, so that is what I'm here to do today. I'll go ahead and start out with the movies I watched, because there's quite a few of them. My brother and I try to go to the movies once a week, because we both very much enjoy movies. So the first movie I saw in the month of August was Atomic Blonde. This basically follows an undercover MI6 agent who is in Berlin in the 1980s to try and discover a traitor in the midst. It's very action-packed, it's got a kick-ass 80s soundtrack, and it's the main character is played by Charlize Theron, and her character is a bisexual, and we get on-camera representation of that. I thought the action scenes were definitely by far the best part. I thought the aesthetic of the movie was really gorgeous as well. There's a lot of really interestingly lit shots that I thought were gorgeously done. The cast is pretty impressive. It's a really good cast, and they all really committed and played their parts really well. But again, like I said, I definitely think that the action sequences and how these action sequences were often choreographed in music is definitely the best part of the film. I think it's the part that they probably spent the most time on. And for that reason, I do find that I think the story as well as the script sometimes did get a little stale. And there were a couple of times I was just kind of like, okay, like when can we get back to the action sequences? But overall, I still thought it was a really enjoyable film. I definitely think if you like spy films or if you like the 80s at all, you'll really enjoy Atomic Blonde. The next movie I saw was one that I didn't really enjoy, and that was The Dark Tower. So The Dark Tower is actually adapted from a Stephen King book series, and I believe I've heard that the movie follows not the first book in the series, but some of the books later in the series. I'm not 100% sure, but it follows a man who is called the Gunslinger. His name is Rylan, and it's basically him hunting down a man in black who we found out has murdered his group of gunslinger people, and is trying to basically destroy this gate between multiple worlds. And it also follows a young boy named Jake who is having vivid dreams about all of this going on in another dimension, and so he crosses dimensions to find the gunslinger to stop the man in black. It was not good. You pretty much can Google any review of The Dark Tower and you're not going to find too many positive reviews, and my brother and I both knew that before we decided to go and see the film, but we decided to be positive about it. It's kind of unfortunate because both Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey are two really good actors, and they were definitely the best part of the whole film and how thoroughly they committed to their roles. Unfortunately, the plot of the movie was very shallow. I don't feel like they really went into depth with a lot of the concepts they had going on. There really is not a lot of world building for this world. You get a line here or there. The weird magic in this world is never fully explained. The plot is kind of, like I said, it's very shallow. It never really reached a depth. The action sequences were okay. I didn't think that they were anything phenomenal. They didn't blow me away, which was kind of disappointing in a movie about a man named Gunslinger. But yeah, overall, I don't think The Dark Tower was worth the money I paid to see it, to be honest. The next movie I went and saw was Logan Lucky, and this is by director Steven Soderbergh, who is very popular for the Magic Mike and also for being a part of the Ocean's trilogy directing, so that is important in a second. So Logan Lucky basically follows our main character, who is from West Virginia, and he's kind of down on the dumps. He recently got fired from a mining job. He worked at a NASCAR speedway, and so he's really strapped for cash. He's finding out that his ex-wife is moving his daughter to a different state, and he kind of feels like everything's going wrong. So he comes up with a plan to rob this NASCAR motor speedway, and he enlists various characters throughout the film to assist him in that. So this is important because if you liked the Ocean's trilogy, Ocean's 11 and everything, I think you'll like this. This is definitely in the same heist vein. If you liked Ocean's 11, the Ocean's trilogy, but you felt it needed to be more redneck, then you will absolutely love this, because it's very much a description of what it is. our lead character is Channing Tatum, and he plays this good old country boy from the backwoods of West Virginia. And he really does nail the role. It's interesting because before I saw the movie, I actually saw a review. I read a review where someone had said that these actors were all put into roles that they weren't really made for, but they all really delivered on them, and I completely agree that that's 100% true. When I would have imagined casting a film like this, I really wouldn't have chosen any of the actors that were chosen, but they all really did do an amazing job. Daniel Craig's character is hysterical, and it's so odd to see him play a character like that, especially after he's been the classy Mr. Bond. Adam Driver is in the film, and Adam Driver's character by far was my favorite. And so, he played Kylo Ren, and he played that dude in Girls before, and so this character was hysterical. I will say Channing Tatum's character has a physical disability. He's got an injured leg, and Adam Driver's character also has a physical disability. He's actually missing one of his arms, and they both were in war, and that's how they got their injuries. There are a few physical gags about Adam Driver's arm, so if that's something that does offend you, I want to warn you about that. There are a couple of jokes made in regards to his not having both arms. So I don't want anybody to go into that and not acknowledge that. It's a very interesting brand of humor because every character in this movie, throws quips, they get insulted. But honestly, I have to admit, I had a really good time watching this film. I thought it was hilarious. I thought so many of the, southern elements of this movie were just so hilariously done. As someone who's from the South, I'm not from West Virginia, but as someone who's from the South, just watching a movie about a NASCAR heist just cracked me up. The whole premise of it was just so good, and I really thought it delivered on what it promised. It was a funny redneck heist movie, and overall I really ended up enjoying it. The last film I watched in the month of August is one I have a lot to say about, and that is the Netflix Death Note adaptation. I know that there are a lot of opinions about this Death Note adaptation. Most of them are negative. I, too, am of the opinion that it was not a very good movie. So the first thing I want to start with is as a Death Note adaptation. As an adaptation of the original manga and anime. Do I think it was good? No. I think they completely redid a lot of the characters and a lot of the story elements from the original story that made it lose its integrity. The film completely changed Light's character, and over that we didn't have somebody who was charming. We didn't have that same charming character that we have in Light Yagami that we had in Light Turner. So Light's character was completely changed, and I thought it was detrimental to the story. The story became a lot more focused on a romance between Light and this girl, and the girl, first of all, completely manipulated him through the entire film. And there was also a lot of weird sequences where it would alternate between the girl and him making out and then deciding to kill people using the Death Note and then making out again, which made me very uncomfortable with the kind of message that sends. Super uncomfortable. I thought some of the actors in the film were good. I thought Willem Dafoe did a phenomenal job as Ryuk. Unfortunately, his character only has 10 minutes in the entire film, which is another change I didn't really like. The character who played L, don't remember his name. I will leave it on the screen. He has been in a lot of other really famous movies. He was in Get Out, and he is a great actor. But unfortunately, the script and the story were so weak that he didn't have anything to work with. So he couldn't bring the character to its fullest potential because an actor can only work with the script they're given, and the script was not good. It was ridiculous and over the top, and the film just tried to cram so much into, a less than 2-hour film. And it's just, as a Death Note adaptation, I think it failed miserably. As an individual film, completely regarding the Death Note aspect to it, do I think it was good? Still, my answer is no. And that is purely for the fact that I think it overused a lot of shots, and it overused a lot of cinema concepts. As a film, I think it was a wannabe Final Destination franchise and American Horror Story Season 1 Murder House. I think it was a wannabe between those two things, and I don't think it was very successful at being either one. So unfortunately, did not like Death Note. So moving on from that, the first thing I want to mention is that immediately following watching the Death Note movie, I decided to try and cleanse my palate and rewatched the Death Note anime. It's funny because I've never actually seen the Death Note anime from start to finish. I watched it years ago when it was first premiering, I think, on Adult Swim here in the United States, and I saw it completely out of order. The last episode was actually the first episode of Death Note I had ever seen, so interestingly enough. So I'm currently in the middle of rewatching that. I'm really enjoying it, and watching the Death Note movie and then rewatching the anime has made me so much more appreciate how in-depth and nuanced the story is, and how much of a true anti-hero Light is, especially as we see him decline into a straight villain. And just, yeah, I mean, it's made me appreciate just how darn good the original story actually is. So the next two things I want to mention is that I got 2 new Funko Pops in the month of August. Both Funko Pops are from the My Hero Academia line. You guys know a couple months ago I recently got into My Hero Academia, saw these, had to get them. The first one is the Ida Tenya Funko Pop. Tenya is one of my favorite characters from My Hero Academia, so when I saw his Funko Pop, I absolutely had to have it. If you guys didn't also know, I'm a big fan of Funkos that wear glasses, because I just like that little detail. So yes, I went ahead and got the Ida Funko Pop, and afterwards I got the All Might Funko Pop, which I absolutely adore. I think it perfectly captures all of the heroic elements of All Might's character. I don't want to spoil My Hero Academia, but I do want to say that I hope they come out with an alternate All Might Funko Pop. If you guys have seen the show or read the manga, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I do hope they eventually do that because I will get it. But yeah, I saw the All Might Funko Pop. It makes me smile, as All Might's character does, so I just had to have it. The last category I'm going to mention is the video games I played this month. I pretty much predominantly played 2 video games in the month of August. The first one I'm going to mention is Miitopia for the Nintendo 3DS, and this is basically an RPG adventure that you go on with Miis from the old Wii universe, where you could like create your own avatar in that really ridiculous, over-exaggerated style. You basically just make some Miis and you go on a RPG adventure to hunt down an evil wizard who is stealing people's faces. So I originally wanted to get this game because I saw them play it on Grumpcade on the Game Grumps channel, and it looked like fun. They were having a great time playing it, and I was like, you know what, I want to have a great time playing it. So I bought it, and I have to admit, it's not the best game in the world by any stretch of the imagination. It gets very repetitive, especially as the fight scenes progress and you're getting much stronger in the areas that you're battling in. You pretty much are just clicking a button to kind of get through everything. So I do have to say that. Though, it was really, really fun. You get to create these own characters, and it's simple. It's not a process that takes 40 minutes to create a character. It's like, cool, I want this one and this one and this one. And you have a lot of room to upgrade their weapons and their costumes, which has always been one of my favorite parts of playing RPGs. And I love that in this world, you are not defined by gender or sexuality. I had 2 characters who were both girls that I made fall in love with each other. I had male characters that I had fall in love with each other, and it's really cool that in this game there's no defining like gender like norm that you have to fit into, which I thought was really cool. That was a thing that they didn't have to add. They could have made you choose, you know, a male and a female character, or they could have only made male and female characters progress through a certain point in like a romantic relationship, but they don't, which was really awesome. So yeah, so I played Miitopia, had a lot of fun playing it. That's it. The second game I want to mention playing was Slime Rancher, which I played on my computer. And Slime Rancher, you are basically on a galaxy far, far away from Earth, basically, where you are on the far, far range and you are collecting slimes to run a ranch on. And basically slimes, they give out these things called plorts, which is essentially just poop, and you collect them and they're worth money. And so you're trying to collect and explore and find new slimes, and you're trying to make as much money as possible. And I actually had this game in the beta when it was originally announced in beta. And I had stopped playing it and decided I didn't want to play it until the full game had finally been released, which it was in the early August. So I went back and decided to replay a bunch of Slime Rancher, and this game is cute. First of all, the art style is so cute. The gameplay is super easy. You know, there really are no battles. It's basically just you going out and exploring and finding cute slimes, and then growing vegetables to feed your slimes, and exploring new places and stuff. And I really like it. It's a super relaxed video game style. I think people who like those resource management type games will really like Slime Rancher. And again, mostly it's just super cute. Like, super cute. Alright guys, so that was all of the things I watched, bought in the month of August. I would love to hear if you've seen any of these things or you've played any of the games and you'd like to talk to me about them. And if not, I'll see you guys soon with another video.